afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, August 9, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a reverse aging health call tonight and all the rest, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, and a lot of stuff to cover if you want to stay in the body. How do we get out of and none of us again are exempt from it, how do we get out of a negative mood? Now, you could just be doing your thing and read something, you hear something, or have a conversation with somebody, and it's not like you do it on purpose, but you fall into a negative void. You start seeing things, it shifts. It's amazing how it shifts, and where you would look at something or interact with something, and you were in a real good, positive mood, then it would look a lot different. But then you shift into the negative mood, and it changes the whole thing. You find faults and situations and issues, and it kind of catapults us into that stasis, so to speak, where we're frozen in a way. And now remember, what starts to go on, or what goes on within you, starts affecting the atmosphere around you. It affects the energy around you, because remember, everything's energy. And you sound like you're aware of it, but have you ever been in a situation where someone says that, maybe knows you a little bit, and says, are you all right? Now, you haven't said anything, right? And you're not sick. And you kind of go, well, yeah, why do you ask? I don't know. You don't seem to be yourself. And see, it's such a low awareness for us to understand that we're connected to each other. We're never not. Even though we have this illusion playing out on this planet and other planetary systems that we view somebody and they're separate, right? Because of the body. So this is how we relate. We relate on the physical material plane. We don't relate on a spiritual plane. So this is how we roll on this planet, and that's how we interact. So you don't feel or see the God within another. You see the body. You see John Smith or Mary Johnson or whoever. And that's how it's calculated. That's how you look. And then at times we judge. And a lot of things, a good rule of thumb is that no matter what you think, okay, which is what you're thinking about, what you want to say, you don't say it, especially when you get into a negative atmosphere that you've created for yourself. And you want to say things, and you say, no, I'm not going to say that. There's no reason to, because it's caustic in those situations, because we're in these heavy emotional bodies, super emotional. And how does that work? Well, it's like Yogi Bhajan said, when ego is lost, limit is lost. You become infinite, kind, beautiful. And we've all had bad days once in a while. Yet some of us, bad days turn into bad weeks, depressing months, and unhappy years. And then we do feel it, I believe, whether it's subtle or even more so. We can choose to make a change. And believe it or not, all of us are here to enjoy life. Enjoy this life. Not be tortured by it. Now, one might say, when you're watching and not judging, you can see it amongst us all. You can see it in your daily course and what you do and how you do it, and you come across it. And there is there, and I'm not talking about, partying and, taking a trip. I'm talking about within you. And those are distractions. But guess what? Have you ever been on a vacation? You enjoy it. It's a good one, okay? It's not disruptive. And you're just starting to truly let go. All the stuff you're going to have to do when the vacation's over, to look at your budget, your money, and all those things come. And this is what happens. You've enjoyed this vacation, and it doesn't take. It's on your mind at the beginning. It's on you. It's within you, and you're calculating and looking and saying, well, I got all this stuff, and then it fades after a few days, and then you begin to embrace your time. But then it's almost like the ego mind's sitting there, and you get closer, right, to having to pack up and go home. And that's when all this stuff comes in. And you immediately are moved out of that relaxed state into a stress. Now, it's not like you're doing it on purpose to yourself. It just happens because we're so conditioned that it's what we do. We bounce into it. Not everybody, but the majority of us. Now, this universe that we're all part of is a totally magnificent playground of energy. Your energy. We all are. A conscious celebration, flourishing and blossoming with life in all directions. Now, when you see this, or if we can see this, we can enjoy it. When we lose perspective, we sever our natural connection with this great joy. But there's no reason to fret, and not all's lost. We're just taking a longer route to rediscovering the divine beings we all truly are. Remember, I say it a lot, this isn't a race. And the first step, so to speak, to shifting out of a negative mood is to recognize, realize, and honor the fact that you are the one creating and perpetuating the bad mood. How many times you say, well, they put me in a bad mood. They put you in a bad mood. We say that. It's because of them or this or Bill or Jane, whatever. They put me in a bad mood. You did. Because you have a choice. Somebody might make a smart remark to you, and it digs, right, emotionally, and it affects you, and you slip into the negativity. Who do they think they are? Blah, blah, blah. But you have a choice. If you're aware enough, you can literally say, there's no reason for me to get upset. Why would I get upset? The only thing it's doing is it's moving me into a place I don't really care to be. I've been there before. Now, you may believe, all of us may believe, something outside of us is responsible for unhappiness. We do this all the time. Yet ultimately, it all comes down to how we are responding. Now, are you seeing it as your teacher or your enemy? Most people, enemy. Okay? Happiness is always about the lens we are looking through. Truly enjoying this life is about taking radical responsibility for the state you're in. Exploring what this negative experience is teaching spiritually you. And then finding out the fastest way to let it go. Now, once you can say, I mean, really, truly, not superficially, I'm the one creating this negative experience of my life, then half of that great battle is over because you've identified it and you've taken radical responsibility for it. Now, the second step, and this is all about freeing ourselves, is learning how to step back from whatever you're resisting, fighting, judging, or hating, and see that actually it's just a bunch of thoughts. That's all it is. Your problems ultimately boil down to ideas that are let's say, ultimately passing through the synapses of your brain. Whatever wrong thing you think is happening out there is always happening primarily inside your mind, in here. Now, the more resistance, judgment, and anger we've built up around this particular resistance, and this idea out there, the greater the joy you'll feel when you shift your relationship with it inside yourself and move on. Now, the moment we learn how to let go of being right about how horrible something or someone is, we discover how good it feels to be wrong. You might find that this life always provides the perfect climax at the end. Now, your third step, right, towards releasing your negative mood is returning to the source of who and what you spiritually are. You're the God, the pure consciousness. And truly, who and what are you? Really? Now, do any of us really, do we go into that with ourselves? I mean, really go into it. I don't believe so. Not yet. Are you your name? Right? What others think of you? Or just this physical body filled with meat, blood, and emotional bones? Perhaps there is a deeper spiritual aliveness that is real, not made up, not fake, real inside you. Now, if you believe that you are your thoughts, then ask yourself, who and what is watching and listening to them go by? We're all watchers. We're not judgers. We're watchers. And this is the real you. You're not any of these thoughts. You must choose to become, or you just became too close to your thoughts and got overly identified with them. And the very moment we return to who and what we really are, this pure consciousness, witness who abides at the source of thought, then, only then, are we home free. And the final step is truly, deeply, and sweetly relaxing fully into your body, so that there is no tension hiding inside you anywhere. When we can fully relax inside, we become deeply aware beings again. It's easy to see how insignificant and fleeting thoughts actually are. Like a dragonfly cruising past you. You ever had that happen? But butterfly. You can have a butterfly and you see it, catches your attention, no matter what you're doing, and you kind of go off and watch it, and it's right there. Sometimes it'll fly right in your face. And instead of batting it away or something, you just kind of watch it. And someone says it, you turn away and you look back and it's gone. When our body is relaxed, we can see how fleeting each moment, each thought is, and how easy it is to completely change them. The more we can feel into the spiritual truth of who and what we are, we naturally pull back our attention to our real selves. It just feels good. So we naturally do it. Our spiritual nature takes care of us, and we can effortlessly enjoy life, which means we have stopped dwelling on the negative. Our bad mood turns around, and we see the beauty in everything. We are grateful for life again, even for the opportunity to shift out of this negative space. We appreciate, love, and enjoy this God in all. We cannot see God at all. That's if we cannot see God in all, we cannot see God at all. All these thoughts that we experience, can you imagine how many of us are completely oblivious, completely, fully immersed in this illusion of a material physical world, and fully enveloped in the ego mind. But eventually, or now, in this very moment, we are experiencing an awakening. Now, with some of us, it may not be, bang in your face, but you do sense that it's there. And ever so lightly, you begin to shift your energetic frequencies within. You begin to realize that everything out there is what you've created for yourself, and what has been going on inside of you has created it. For instance, if you've heard people say, it might be a conversation, and they say things like life sucks, or that they can't believe that they've had so many hardships or disappointments. And they say it seems to be a never-ending battle. Right? Why is that? It's because of the thoughts that are just thoughts. They embrace them. They form them. They give them energy. and they bring them into their reality, and then they experience it. And as we become more aware with ourselves, we'll see this, not as a deficit, a negative, but as a comprehension that we go, well, now I'm aware of this. And what's the reason? Why would I embellish with it? Why would that happen? Because I choose to. Now that I'm becoming more aware, I have a much better perspective where I can say to myself, I don't really care to even go there with that. I know what it is. I've experienced it many times. And I know how I feel when I do experience it. And I don't really care for it. I don't like it. I don't like that experience. It's not the best. And through that awareness, you begin to realize that you have learned through that experience that it's not something that you really want to partake in anymore. You don't care to partake in it. And so when it comes in, those thoughts come in, then you're much more aware, and then you can pick them. Or you get to the point where you can create them. Because remember, thoughts don't come into you. They are created by you within, and then they affect your outer world. That's how it works. You know, someone might say to you, you know, I had this crazy thought come in, right? And that's not their thought. These thoughts are other people's thoughts through billions of years of existing on this planet. That might sound strange to some people, but it's a fact. And this is all about us waking up through this motion that we call life and enjoying it. This is our ultimate transition. When we enjoy it, we're in the heart-mind. And we begin to practice more being in the heart-mind. And we begin to know that, have you ever been able to kind of say, okay, when you wander off and you could go back years, you don't know why, it centers on somebody that you knew maybe 20, 30 years ago. Comes out of the clear blue. But you say, see, then, now an unaware would embrace that and go with it and interact with it for who knows how long. But someone who is somewhat aware will say, that's dead and gone. That's a long time ago. And you'll find yourself shifting back into the now. It'll just disappear. It's always a choice for us. But see, when you make a choice when you're aware and when you make a choice when you're unaware, the big difference between night and day. And that is what brings us into us creating or manifesting our outer world. Someone could always have challenges with monies, right? No matter how hard they work, no matter what they do, there never seems to be enough. They're always faced with a deficit. And they get more and more frustrated, and they feed it more and more, and it becomes more and more. Now, they're unaware, okay? They believe that it's out there that's affecting that it's creating that and causing that for them. But in eventuality, it's them. Everything that happens with us in this life and all the other lives that we've been in is because of us. It's always that way. It's never not. You might choose to be somewhere and do something, and you happen to be in that space, right? And something occurs. Well, because you chose to be in that space, you created whatever it is. Now, I'm not saying that it's always negative, because it isn't. There's a lot of good, positive things that we experience in this life, even by being unaware. But those of us who wish to finally find out what's in this body, and I'm not talking about blood and bones and anything like that. What is it that we really are? It's not the body. The body is a vessel for us. The body's temporary. We're not temporary. We're forever. So you can see the distinction where we kind of miss the target. And all it is, and once you identify this, through the heart mind, not through the ego mind, because then you become angry, revengeful, and irritated. But through the heart mind, you forgive everything. You see it. And you say, I've been programmed, and it's deep-seated within me in this life, on how I respond, how I react, my emotionalities. And this is why. And the ego, then you realize that the illusion, which is the ego mind, is in charge. Not your enemy. It isn't your enemy. It's there so you can master it and experience and learn. So then you start realizing that, so really what am I? Because remember, we are very curious beings. We're creators. We're always curious. Some people call it nosy, right? But it's just curiosity. And you've heard the old saying, curiosity killed the cat. An old wives' tale statement. And that's not true, because that's our childlike energy coming out when we just can't. You ever done that? You're curious about something, right? And it's like it just stays there until you give it attention. And you say to yourself, why did that keep coming up? And you keep getting more and more curious about something until you've satisfied yourself through discovery. Oh, that's what's going on. Or, now I got it. Now I comprehend it. You've done that. We all have. And it's about us being aware of who and what we are in these bodies, being aware that, and knowing this through your heart mind, that you are a omnipotently powerful supreme being that never dies. Ever. Energy can't destroy energy. It can only change form. Okay? So if you have two phase pulse weapons, which are liquid platinum, or plasma, excuse me, and the force, each of them come into contact with one another with great force. And they dissipate. Where's that energy? Did they destroy each other? No. The energy just took different form, moved into different ways. It's like if something, let's say a steel wall, right? And you have like a plasma energy weapon, and you fire it at that steel wall. That steel wall is energy. It's made of energy. And it disintegrates. Is the energy gone? No, it's not gone. It's still there. It's dispersed and taken on other molecular form. Now, you are pure energy in that body. You cannot be destroyed. You can't. Everything's energy. Take this planet, for instance. This planet is known as a Class M water world, right? It's over 70% water. Surface, even more so beneath the surface. Now, where do you think that water goes? Through billions of years, right? when the planet did form water through its atmosphere, where does it go? When you drink it, the water's gone, right? It's gone. Or you say, well, it evaporated. Now, you can't see it with those eyes. So you say, okay, I'm going to take a humidifier, a dehumidifier, excuse me, and I'm going to turn it on, and all of a sudden the container has water in it. Water! Where'd it come from? The air. What is it? Energy. One might say, you mean to tell me that through all these years, billions of years, we've been drinking water that's billions of years old? Yes. Yes. Imagine the energy that contains. Now, you can't see it. You can't really feel it or drink it from the atmosphere, in most cases. Your energy in a body that you created as a God, as pure consciousness, to experience material physical life. Now, wow. And we're here and we're learning and experiencing so that really we can rediscover who and what we really are. And we can also identify the fact that we're very grateful to have these bodies to experience this wonderful life, which has all kinds of things. See, anybody that you hear say that life is boring, right? Or I'm bored, what do you want to do? They're purely in physical material life. And they haven't discovered who and what they are at all. And they haven't even embraced their spirituality. Some of you have, raised in a religious environment, whatever religion, as a child, and you were influenced by that. And so some of us would go to church, and we would go to church because we would go there and then we'd get out of church and we would feel good. It was like, you didn't have any guilt because you went to church. And the guilt is ego mind. And the reason you go to church is ego mind. Because you know where your church is? Inside that body. You're the church, you're the heaven, you're the joy, you're the bliss, you're the happiness. And also on the flip side, you can be the hate, the anger, the destruction, the manipulation, the greed, all of it. It's in one ocean. So someone might say, how can you say that guy right there is a good guy? Right? I mean, he's done this, he's done that. He doesn't seem to really care about much. And you stop yourself and say, well, wait a minute. I'm judging the body. There's a God in that body. And that God is part of my God. And so on and so forth. So you can see how it happens. It's easy. We're in these highly charged emotional bodies, which are also energy, but in different form. So you can see how it's been proven thousands of times that how you are within you is what you're going to create around you. Because you're moving the energy around you, outside of you, outside the body, and you are emitting, okay, let's say low frequencies, anger, hate, pain, disgust, and you're actually changing the atmosphere around you. Now, what does that do? It attracts, what does it do? It attracts other low frequencies. It's like a magnet. Now, how many are aware of that? Not many. And so you say to yourself, I don't care to do that. I know what's going on. I know I'm doing this. And I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to stop it by going within, right? Going in the now, like we do in these meditations, focusing on my breath, rising and falling. And like magic, it shifts. During the course of the day, you could be doing your stuff, right? And all of a sudden, you just say to yourself, I'm deeply grateful for the very moment I'm in. Yet nothing instigated that outside of you. You did. Not because, if I do this, things will be, I'll get what I want. It's not. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's because you feel it. That's what it's about. You feel that. So you verbalize it to yourself. And it's magnificent. And how do you feel? You say to yourself, I feel absolutely wonderful. So what happens then? Then your frequency is higher from within, and then you start attracting higher frequencies into your field, to you. This is the only way it's done. Now imagine how things become so magnificent because you're aware of this. That doesn't mean you'll slip into it on occasion. But now you're aware enough to say, no, not interested in that. I'm interested in feeling good with high spirits, and I'm interested in my frequency to be moving outside of me and around me, so it will attract people, places, things to me that are high frequency. You ever been you've been traveling somewhere, right? And your car starts to act up. You're like you don't know where, it's not like you're in your home or your hometown or wherever you're living. You're out there. And then you look and you go, or you might have forgotten to put enough gas in your vehicle. And you're driving, traveling, and you look down and you see that, holy cow, I forgot to put gas in the car. Don't run out, don't run out, don't run out, don't run out. What am I going to do? There's nothing out here. You see what you're doing? Don't run out, don't run out, don't run out. There's nothing out. And on most occasions, it will run out. Now, how are you feeling? Well, you're kind of fearing because you don't know the area and everything. And I'm talking about when you don't have a cell phone. Well, I'll just get on my cell phone. No, you don't have a cell phone. So how are you going to shift the frequency of your anxiousness, right, to at ease? You focus on what you want in the now. And like magic, the energies come together and something occurs. Someone may pull up on the side of the road behind you. And since you're in the heart mind, you're not thinking that they're a murderer, rapist, or evil. They just happen to be in a higher frequency and see you stranded, and they want to help. So you get in their vehicle and you go to the nearest gas station, and they happen to be local. This has happened millions of times just in this country, not including all the rest of the world. You see what I mean? You, the God that you are in that body, is the only thing that's real. Everything else is an illusion. It's not real. It isn't real. You created it. Why? Why do we create all this stuff? It's so we can experience it. You want to enjoy your life? Create it. Doesn't matter what situation you're in. Doesn't matter. It's the awareness. And every one of us have that ability. It's like I've been saying. Everything we will ever need is within us. Always has been. It's just that many have not discovered it yet. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into the body. Focus on the breath rising and falling. See the divine. The wise ones always say that if you cannot see God in all, you cannot see God at all. That's all you really need to know to become liberated from all the suffering. Simply look for what's sacred, holy, and divine in everything and everyone. Every moment is a potential pathway guiding you back home. Now you may sleep extra deep tonight, knowing that within every experience of life divinity is always there. It's time to rediscover the joy of savoring each life experience. You can't do that locked up in a regimen in a safe bubble. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight, Friday, August 9, 2024, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. This is all about staying in the body. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on around you or within you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.